Yes, once again, we are live here at the Reach Connect podcast. Importance of voting here with Commissioner Omar Sabir. We appreciate having him. Y'all know every time we come on this live on this stream, viable information for individuals who may not know certain things. So without further ado, we're going to get right into the show. Commissioner, we appreciate having you here. We thank you a lot for even coming on and sharing the importance of voting and all the other things that you have going on. So without further ado, Commissioner, if you go ahead and introduce yourself and pretty much give us a brief of why voting is important.
Sure. I'm City Commissioner Omar Sabir. The City Commissioners are a three-member bipartisan board of elected officials, and we oversee the election functions in Philadelphia County. We are bound by local, state, federal policies. To make it pretty much simple, I mean, the buck stops here with us when it comes to voting. So there's three city commissioners, elected board, and we sort of oversee elections. We tally the votes. We make purchases. We make human resource decisions. We are the gatekeepers for democracy. We make sure that everything is run efficiently and running smoothly. That when you want to cast your ballot, when you want to cast your vote, you can walk through peacefully and safe and do your civic duty. So that's pretty much what we do. We're the leadership of that, and I'm very excited to be here. And thank you for having me. It's very crucial that you're doing, and everyone who is listening. It's very important that you spread the word to your family and friends. I can't express how important it is that people listen to you, especially in regards with voting, because there's so much disinformation and so much misinformation out there that's really targeted at people of color, African Americans, Latinos, Asians. They just say all kind of crazy stuff about elections. It's just not true.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I totally agree with you, and especially individuals that are returned to society. A lot of times they feel as though, oh, we can't vote because we have a felony, when that's a complete lie. Because I'm able to vote, I vote all the time. And if you could share some of that, because even I believe that some individuals can even vote from the inside as well.
Yes. So here's the reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just to keep it simple, right? Once your feet hit the street, you can compete, right? Once you receive your freedom, you good to go. And unfortunately, there's been disinformation that has been spreaded from the guards, from the wardens, from everybody. And I don't think it's malicious. I just think that people just are unaware. And these campaigns have been targeted to disenfranchise our returning brothers and sisters. And you make up a significant population. And when you talk about the millions across our country who have the right to vote, but don't believe that they have the right to vote. And what we found was that a lot of people don't feel comfortable talking about their criminal background. So they're not going to get the help that they need in regard to their voting needs. They're just going to assume that they can't vote. And the misinformation is so strong that when I explain to my brothers and my family and my friends, say, listen, you can vote. They're like, no, I'm like, I'm the commissioner. Yes, you can. You got to show them. And then I show them, right? And so the way how we beat that is through reputation, right? So if you have been convicted of pretty much anything, doesn't matter. Once you get free, you can vote. Now, if you have been convicted of voting fraud, then there's a small period of time that you have to wait when you return, but then you will get your rights back. If you are convicted of a misdemeanor, you can still vote even while you're in prison. So you have the option to request a mail-in ballot. You fill out the ballot, and then we will mail you the ballot, and then all you have to do is return it. So if you are concerned about your voting rights, you want to let the guard know, you want to let the warden know, you want to let your counselor know, you want to let them know that you want to exercise your voting rights. And guess what? They have to give you voter registration forms. They have to give you the vote by mail applications. Well, mail you out the ballot by law. They have to do that. So, so you have rights.
Gotcha.
And right. So you have rights. So even like I say, now if you are a pretrial detainee, if you get arrested and you're still awaiting trial, you still have voting rights, just like anyone else. So again, you're going to have to request your ballot, and we will mail you a ballot. And then when we mail you out the ballot, you're going to be able to fill out your ballot while you're incarcerated, and then you just mail it right back, and you have voted. So again, so many people sacrifice for our right to vote. And this upcoming presidential election is going to be a small margin that I can probably assure you that probably the returning citizen may be the deciding factor in this election. That's how close it is. That's how tight it is. And it's definitely going to be exciting and refreshing to sort of see a new electorate become revived, awoken. And, people have been saying that you can't contribute anything to society. Yes, you can contribute to society. And we just have our presidential election. Next year, we're going to have the judges election. So any judges that was unjust to you, you have the opportunity to say, yes, you stay, or no, you go.
Yeah.
And when you increase that to participation, judges will be more lenient to you because they're not going to be always leaning towards the police officers because they know the police officers got the union, they vote. This is my path in order for me to get into office. But if they sort of looked at the people that they was presiding over, right, which is mainly black and brown citizens of Philadelphia, then once they see them and they see that they're voters, guess what? They're going to be more favorable to them. They're not going to be talking mean to you. They're not going to be coming into court late. They're not going to be doing some of those things that some judges do, and we got some good judges too. But then some judges, they just, I'm going to deal with the police, and it's not really, that's not a fair sort of stance. But again, when you vote, that builds the accountability and the resources. When you want funding for like reentry programs, if people sort of saw this returning community as voters, you would have more programs for you. It's really pretty much that simple. The more you vote, the more you get. And that's the way how democracy is set up. It's not necessarily set up for when we look at people, they look at voters. That's what policymakers look at. And that's how they typically decide where the resources go.
That's powerful. That's powerful. So, Commissioner Sabir, if you can briefly touch on some of the programs and initiatives that you have going on in the city, such as the Philly Rises, which is a citywide tour. Now, what is that referring to?
So the Philly Rises is basically an extension of the Octavius Cattle Task Force. Octavius Cattle was a civil rights hero who was assassinated in Philadelphia on Election Day in 1871. He was about 32 years old, one of the early founders of Chan University, a Civil War hero. He was one of the early civil rights fighters to desegregate our trolleys here in Philadelphia. So he has a long sort of history, and he was assassinated on Election Day. Wow. And so long before the civil rights movement, there was people here who was fighting for your right to vote. And so we sort of named this task force in his honor. And that task force is basically designed to eliminate barriers for people to vote, to combat the disinformation. It's a combination of nonprofit organizations, of elected officials, business owners. And what we sort of do, nonprofits and what we sort of faith-based organizations, we sort of assemble to sort of, make voting easy for everyone. And one of the tasks that we sort of broke off from that group is it's the Urban League, Philadelphia NAACP, here Youth Vote, and Committee of 70. And we go to different schools, we recruit poll workers, we register them, we build excitement about elections, we encourage them to participate in the civic process, and we also tie the reason why you vote in the history and the sacrifice, and they can connect it. More often we tell people just go out and vote because you need to vote. And maybe somebody made a sacrifice, a long time ago for you. That's the reason why you vote. But who sacrificed for us? And why did they sacrifice for us? So it's very crucial that we get out, that we vote, that we participate, in our elections.
Yes, indeed. We appreciate that. And we know that there's one other thing that you had was that the YANF. Now, I know that was a very important thing that you were going to be touching on as well. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow you to share on what that maybe what that's concerning.
Sure. So it's a basic, simple sort of initiative.
Mhm.
It's the You Are Not Forgotten initiative,
Okay.
and this program was initiated in 2022.
Mm,
And the initiative's primary objective is to combat voter suppression, dispel felony disenfranchisement, and close information gaps amongst vulnerable communities. It's a strategic partnership with judges, lawyers, reentry programs, probations. So
mhm,
all these sort of different actions, state legislators to sort of change laws. We
mm,
work with wardens, we work with sheriffs all across the state of Pennsylvania to make it easier for our returning brothers
mm,
and sisters who are here to vote. And this is basically all that. Just make it simple, make it easy for the
mhm.
people. And we have assembled the sort of group, and this is what we do.
And this is what you do. That's very powerful, very powerful. And just one more thing, and I know I'm not going to hold you too long because I know we're pressed for time, but it's okay. If you could give some motivation to individuals that's watching behind a prison wall, a halfway house, somebody that may be losing their way, if you could give them some motivation and encouraging words, what would that be?
Well, number one, you are not forgotten. We care about you, and you have a significant place in our society. We need you to come back home. Some of you are fathers, some of you are role models, and we still want to hear from your experiences. We want to work here together with you. Now is the time, and our time is now. And we cannot allow anyone to define who we are. And there is help. And I, myself personally, I know that I'm here for you. But again, this society, we need you to come on back to be contributors of our society. And we are calling on you. If you are eligible, you still have the right to vote. And we need you now. Now is the time, and our time is now.
That's great. That's great. Thank you so much. Again, that's Commissioner Sabir for you. We appreciate everything you're doing in the community, all the meetings that you've been showing up for and taking action. You really informed a lot of individuals of things that they may not have known. Even family members, loved ones didn't even know these type of things. But here was, we spread the word. It's for a good cause. We appreciate you tuning in tonight and coming in and give us a little bit of your time. But until next time, Commissioner Sabir, appreciate having you. But we just ask that in the future we might have a panel. We might reach out to you again. But thank you so much for
Listen, brother. Anytime. Our website is vote.phila.gov. Vote vote.phila.gov. It has all the latest information. You can find your polling location. You can get all the information you need. You can request all your forms. It's real simple. And then just call us too as well. Our number is 215-686-3462. 215-686-3462. You are not forgotten. We are here for you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But until next time, we thank you so much. Would you go ahead and you have a good rest of your evening, Commissioner, and I appreciate everything you've done.
Sure, anytime.
Okay? You take care. All right. Here it is. All right, y'all. Y'all already know it's Keenan Hudson back with the live broadcast here to Reentry Connect. Yes, there was Commissioner. He came on. He shared a lot of information concerning voting privileges. It's very important. I know a lot of times people say, "Oh, you go to prison, and when you have a felony, you can't vote anymore, and you can't do this, you can't do that," and a lot of that are like a bunch of lies that people just made up and stirred up. But here it is. He was sharing that you can vote. The only way that you may not be able to vote right away is if you had some type of voting fraud going on. but most people probably haven't even voted in their life. So you may not even have to worry about something like that. Not unless you was deep into politics way before and got into something you wasn't supposed to be into. But nonetheless, as I said, even though I'm a convicted felon, I still place my ballot, still place my vote, as long as other people that I know as well. But again, if we don't get out and vote, just remember the people that, you just leave out there hanging, they're just going to be just sworn into office, without even getting your vote. So some people may not be running against nobody, but being as though you lack a knowledge of who's running and what they're running for, and you just leave them hanging out there, or you just vote for anybody, or you just go in there and just push any button. Next thing you know, you wonder why these certain judges are in office. You wonder why the certain officials or politicians in office that you didn't probably want to be there, but you never took the time out to do just a little bit of homework. But it's all right. Again, he said, get out there and vote. Follow him, Mr. Commissioner Omar Sabir. We appreciate him even coming on the show. But again, I'm here, Keenan Hudson. It's your host with the Reentry Connect podcast. Again, we was on here with the importance of voting with with the Commissioner Omar Sabir. We appreciate everything. So without further ado, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to end this show. I know it was a sudden, it was a little quick show, but it was all right. We're grateful. We're appreciative, for even, getting time from the commissioner himself. We have a lot of meetings and things going on in the city. Everybody probably heard about a lot of shooting and things like that going on with these kids in the high schools and things like that. But we're looking for an alternative. We're looking for solutions. We're looking to solve this problem and really start making a difference in the cities, and it's kind of tough, especially when you see a lot of young kids nowadays, just, acting, just in ways that's not normal. And I understand that. I could point the finger at myself too. I know when we were kids, we used to do a lot of stupid things as well. But now it's just getting really, really out of hand. Kids getting shot up at a bus stop, on numerous occasions, people retaliating, people coming back for payback. It's so much that's going on. But I believe I always share with people that it takes us as a people, it takes us as a whole to come together, start holding, these kids accountable. Parents, we got to hold you accountable as well. Because I saw it before, even on the news, I told them, a lot of these kids are coming from somewhere. They have fresh clothes on. You can tell they come from a good household, but more so they're getting pressed upon by their peers. They're getting pressed upon about individuals that they're hanging with out there on the streets. These people are, forcing them to commit these heinous crimes and shoot these guns and try to say, yeah, well, do it if you're not going to ride and all these things. Like, that stuff is proving a point to nobody. And I say this to a lot of young fellas right now. Before you pull that trigger, ask yourself, are my homies able to afford a lawyer once I go to prison? Ask yourself. Because before you pull that trigger, remember, all your homies probably didn't even have no money in their pocket. So what makes you think they don't have the type of money to afford an attorney, a private counsel when you go to the court system? Remember, before you pull that gun, it's another thing. Know that there's surveillance cameras everywhere. There's surveillance cameras almost on every street now. A lot of people know that a lot of surveillance is not just the premises of who's doing wrong, but a lot of it's for car accidents. But best believe city officials have access to them cameras as well if need be. If they need to dig into them, for a reasonable, for a valid cause, to find somebody committing a criminal act on that camera, best believe they can run them cameras back. Just take a just drive down the streets. Drive down the streets and just look up at the city lights. Or if you look up at the on the posts, the light posts and things like that, you're going to see cameras there. Yes, they are for car accidents to show, who was wrong or right, see if anybody was, trying to commit a fraudulent claim. But those cameras are out there watching people as well. So just remember that. Can my friends afford me a lawyer? Can you know, you looking around, am I going to get caught? Yes, you are going to get caught. Because, one of the biggest things a lot of you young guys fail to realize is that there is no street code. People are going to tell on you. Yes, rats. They're going to rat on you. That's the street code, right? People are not keeping that no more. Wait until you may think they're big and tough until they get locked up. That's why I wrote my book the way I structured it. You even got a chapter in there that says who told on who. Just give me a breakdown of how stuff really happens out here on the street. This stuff really happens. Ain't nobody gonna keep it. Ain't nobody gonna keep it a being like that. So I'm trying to help you young cats, try to give as much wisdom as possible, give a lot of clarity. I'm not speaking over your head. I'm trying to just give you an understanding. Listen, you don't want to take that trip to the prison system. You just don't. Why? Because it's easy to get in, but it's hard to get out, period. And you may say, oh yeah, I go to court and I go to trial, and if I get found guilty, I can appeal. Well, guess what? You're gonna be sitting 30 years on that appeal. Yeah. You go ahead and file that PCRA, get denied. Oh, I'm appealing to the Supreme Court, get denied. Oh, I'm going to the federal. I'm gonna do. You don't know what you're up against. You think you have an idea of saying, oh yeah, I want to go to prison as if that's a badge of honor. It's not a badge of honor. You're gonna look like a fool with them browns on. You're gonna look like a fool with them blues on. You're gonna look like a fool with those orange jumpsuits on. So again, you better, start second thinking. Start reevaluating your circle. Start understanding, like, look, okay, is this really gonna, pan out for me the correct way, or if this really gonna benefit me in some type of way? Nah, you better start thinking. Remember, everybody that's in your circle is not in your corner. You may think because that person that walk around with the gun that he's the tough guy, but that may be the softest guy of them all. Excuse me. That's what I'm saying. It's more when people, and this from the young cats. When people are trying to talk to you, when people are trying to convey a message to you, it's best that you listen. Because 9 times out of 10, either people seeing the results of those type of experiences, or they've even been through the experience themselves. And the only best way to really learn something is going through the experience or knowing people that have been through it. A lot of times you may think, well, why I keep talking about this? Why you keep talking about? Because we got a lot of love for you, a lot of young cats out here. And even though you may not experience a lot of love inside the household and things like that, it's all right though. But you just got to remember that, there's much love out here and people don't want to see you go to prison. Quite sure your grandma may be sick. She don't want to see you go to prison. Your mom may not be doing well. She may be on the streets, but she don't want to see you go to prison. I mean, your father may not be in your life. Yes, that's a huge impact that can have over you, but we can't allow that to affect us in a way to whereas we just go out and just start committing heinous crimes or acts, out of frustration and anger. It's all right to reach out for help. It's all right to go to school to your guidance counselor. Ask them, hey, you need to talk to somebody. It's okay. But just know that a lot of change is coming. I can feel it in the air. It's coming. So without further ado, it's your host, Keenan Hudson, here with the Reentry Connect podcast. Again, I know we was just on with the commissioner, and he was sharing everything about the voting and things like that. Shout out to One Day at a Time, ODAD, 215-226-7860. Mel Wells, we appreciate everything you're doing. Look forward to connecting with you here in the future. We're getting ready. Yes, sir. Shout out to GPStransportation.net, 215-774-9913. Looking for great transportation here in the city of Philadelphia. Tri-State as well. They go anywhere you want them to. Party buses, wheelchair accessible. Oh, and best believe they got private transportation as well. So feel free to reach out to them if you need that great transport coming from an airport. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. If you mention my name, mention the Reentry Connect podcast, let's believe you will get a great discount. Great discount. They don't give you a discount, y'all call me. Y'all let me know, and I'm going to check them right away. No problem. All right, Reentry Connect podcast. Here with the importance of voting with Commissioner Omar Sabir. We appreciate everything. Thank you. And y'all take care and have a wonderful night. All right. Peace out.